selling on Amazon can be so confusing because there are so many different business models you can choose. And there's so many different people telling you so many different things, and it just makes you want to absolutely scream. But you don't have to. We're going to go through all of them today. Welcome to AMZ Unlocked. I am Kimberly Locke, and there is so much to consider when you're trying to decide how you actually want to sell on Amazon. Amazon is definitely one of the most popular business platforms out there for selling physical products, and there's so many different options and so much noise and confusion out in the space. So I want to cut through all of that noise, all of that fluff and hype, and get down to the actual pros and cons of what is involved in the different types of business models to sell on one of the biggest platforms in the world, Amazon. So stick with me to the end. We're going to go through several different types, and as an entrepreneur, you know your business goals might be different than my business goals. So what might not work for me might work for you. So you want to make sure that you really understand all of the different business models that are out there, and that's what we're doing right now. One thing that I'm seeing a lot of information out in the space on is print on demand, and that can seem really attractive, but there are a few pitfalls to it. So let's go through just a little bit. What is it? What's great about it and what's not so great about it? So print on demand, basically you come up with an idea to put on a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a water bottle, a mouse pad, whatever it might be. And then a service will sell that or create that for you. They'll manufacture it for you to order, which that sounds really great. You don't have to buy any inventory up front. So there's one benefit. You don't have to invest in any inventory. So you put your listing up, people come to it, they like your design, they place the order, the manufacturer or the platform that you've chosen will manufacture and print that item and send it to the customer for you. So as we said, one of the big benefits is you don't have to worry about stocking any inventory. You can create a lot of designs super quickly and put them all out there and see what works. And there's so many different types of products you can put these designs on. So there's a lot of flexibility when it comes to that. But there are some pitfalls and things that you need to consider before you dive into the print on demand space. So because it's so easy, it's a highly competitive environment. There are all kinds of people using this type of business model. So your competition is going to be very, very high. You're also going to have extremely low profit margins. There's not very much left over once you sell it. Just usually less than $1 per product is left over for you. You have to rely on these external platforms, and you have no control over the quality of what they're sending out. You also don't have any control over any fulfillment issues that might come up, and you run the risk of running into intellectual property violations if you possibly use a design that is belonging to someone else. If you're not an artist and you're not creating the design on your own, you run that risk inadvertently using someone else's intellectual property, and they can come after you for that. So there are a few benefits to it, but there's a whole lot of negatives to it. For me, this is definitely not an avenue that I've decided to pursue. Another type of business model that I see a lot of chatter out in the space is arbitrage. And there's two different types of arbitrage. You've got retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. They're very much the same, just one slight little difference. So basically with both types of arbitrage, you're finding a product in a retail environment that's at a discount, you're buying it in bulk, and then you're reselling it. So if it's retail arbitrage, you'll be going to a store and buying it. If it's online arbitrage, you're finding the products online in bulk and reselling them. Now, online has an advantage over retail because you're going to be able to find a lot more things available to you. Both of these business models have the benefit of having a lower startup cost potentially, but it just depends on what you're able to find what kind of discounted price you're able to find on whatever product it is you choose to sell. By far, I think the disadvantages outweigh the advantages in this one. I mean, it might be kind of easy to do, just go out and find some discounted products, send them into Amazon and put them up for sale. But you have very little control over anything. You have very little control over the quality of the product because you weren't involved in the manufacture. You have zero branding going on. It's not going to be a unique product, and it's most likely going to be a commodity product, which means you're going to be competing on price on Amazon, and that's not someplace you really want to be. It's going to involve a lot of time and effort to source these products and find them and get them in, and you're going to then run into potential inventory issues if they're no longer made or you can't find a source for the products going forward. What initially might be a successful product is not going to be successful if you can't replace it. There's definitely limited growth in this. And like I said, without the branding and the differentiation, it really makes it a very highly competitive landscape. So definitely not one that I have given a go at, and definitely not one that I would consider personally for my own Amazon business. So the next business model is very similar to arbitrage, and that is the wholesale business model. The difference is here, instead of finding the products in a retail or an online outlet, you're going directly to the manufacturer of the products and buying them in bulk from them at a wholesale price. This allows you to have a little bit better inventory supply, and you can develop a good partnership with the manufacturer to keep this wholesale relationship going. But you're also going to have the same disadvantages, as in no ability to differentiate. It's oftentimes going to be a commodity product. You're not going to be able to brand it. It's not going to be very unique what you've done. It's not going to be something you've created, differentiated, and created a whole brand around. It's also a very competitive landscape. One manufacturer may be wholesaling to multiple different entities that are selling their products in a variety of places. So you may find yourself competing against someone with the exact same product from the exact same manufacturer on Amazon. In that instance, all you can do is compete with them on price, and that is not someplace that you want to be. Another disadvantage is, much like arbitrage, is you're not going to have that ability to have that kind of quality control because you're not actually involved in the manufacturing process. So wholesale, much like arbitrage, not something that really interested me, not something that I've tried for my own business. Another business model that is very popular and I see talked about quite a lot is drop shipping. So drop shipping, you don't have to make any purchases. So it has an advantage over arbitrage and wholesaling, is that you're not having to buy any inventory at all. Much like print on demand, you're just putting a listing up for whatever the product is. When a customer places the order, then you place the order with the manufacturer and have it shipped directly from the manufacturer or supplier to the customer. So this cuts you out completely from handling the product at all. But again, you're not going to have any control over the quality. You're not going to be able to do any branding. You're not going to have any differentiation. You're just selecting products from this manufacturer's catalog that you're going to list and sell. But this does afford you to have very low upfront costs to get started, and it is often an entry point for people to test out the whole e-commerce arena and see if it's something that they enjoy. Some of the disadvantages include that it's going to have a low profit margin, so you're not going to be making as much. You're also not going to have any inventory control. So if an item is very popular and the manufacturer sells out and they don't have any more, you have no control over that. You have no control over the user experience. It could be coming to them in just a very bulk packed type of box, directly from the factory in China, and doesn't look very nice at all. No custom packaging, no messaging, no product inserts, none of that, no branding whatsoever. And because often these manufacturers are in another country, the shipping times can be very, very long. So that can be a big disadvantage, especially if you're dealing in the US marketplace on Amazon. US consumers want their products in a day or two. They don't want to wait 2 to 4 weeks for it to come from another country. So that is a huge disadvantage. And on top of all that, you do have very limited ability to have any control over the quality. So the entire customer experience, the inventory levels, the quality of the product, all out of your control if you're using dropshipping. It's a business model that I did look at early on, but because of these disadvantages, I chose not to give it a go. The next business model we're going to take a look at is definitely my favorite, and it is the business model that I use for my Amazon business, and that is private labeling. So in this, you can create an absolutely unique custom product. You can have design or utility patents on your product. You figure out what your product is, you find a manufacturer to make this product for you. You have complete control over the packaging, the branding, the whole customer experience. You purchase the inventory and then you get it into the fulfillment center and sell it directly to the customers. So in addition to the branding control, you have the quality control you have, because you can definitely get your products inspected before production, during production, and before they ship out, which I highly recommend all 3 of those inspection types. You have higher profit margins because you're the one creating the product and getting it directly in bulk from the manufacturer. There's no other middleman. You are it. It is from the factory to you, consumer, via Amazon. So this will mean there's a little bit higher upfront cost when you're purchasing the inventory. But as I've talked about in other videos, there are definite ways to maximize your cash flow based on how you're placing your order and how you're shipping it to Amazon. For me, this has definitely been my preference. I love creating the brand. I love creating a unique product. Both of my brands, I have design patents pending on my products because I have created something truly unique that is not anywhere else. No one else has created it. And so I have those patents in play for my products, which makes me completely unique and no one can actually compete against me on the market. I hope this has been helpful in providing some clarity on the different business models out there. And if you have any questions or want to just have a chat to find out what it would take to start your own Amazon business, I would be more than happy to have a chat. I am offering coaching sessions to anyone who's interested to either help you get started or help you if you have run into a problem with your Amazon business. So you can find the links below in the description to look into that if you would like to. If this has been valuable, please hit the like button and don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified of upcoming videos like this one.